Chef Cal again. Today we're doing meadowwood short ribs. We're going to be braising them. Very simple process. Takes about 4 hours. First things first, you're going to want your oven set to 350. Then you're going to want to cut your celery, your onions, and your carrots into pretty small pieces, what the French would call a brunoise. Here we also have our chicken stock and our wine ready to go, and our braising pan all nice and hot. Start off with some olive oil, not too much, just enough to get your vegetables going. Say about 3 tablespoons. Once the olive oil is hot, once it starts smoking a little, then you know it's safe to add your vegetables. You want to hear a nice sizzle. You don't want to put them in there and have them all lame out. Now that it's all nice and hot, we're going to add our vegetables. Season them up with a little salt and pepper right now too. Let your onions caramelize, and when they become translucent, that's when we'll put the short ribs in. Now we're ready to put the short ribs in. You know that when you stand over the celery, the carrots, and the onions, it's very aromatic. It smells very peculiar. The French call the mixture mirepoix. And it's a basis for a lot of their dishes. Just placing the short ribs in now. As soon as that's in, we're going to cover them about halfway in the pan with chicken stock. So you'll see now that the short ribs are about halfway submerged in the stock. Now I'll add the wine to where it becomes about 3/4 of the short rib. You can do red or white. Typically red brings out the strongest flavor. Now we'll let this come to a boil, cover it, and then put it in the oven. Now that we're going to add a nice simmer, we're going to go ahead and Alright, now we're going to make our polenta for the short ribs. Leave yourself a nice half an hour before the short ribs are done, and then you can start up on this. First, we're going to put in our olive oil, as such, with our pan nice and hot. Let it sit for a minute. Let the olive oil get hot too. Alright, now we're going to make our polenta for the short ribs. Leave yourself a nice half an hour before the short ribs are done, and then you can start up on this. First, we're going to put in our olive oil, as such, with our pan nice and hot. Let it sit for a minute. Let the olive oil get hot too. Put in the onions, get a nice sizzle on. Salt and pepper. All nice and happy again. Caramelization key. Put in the onions, get a nice sizzle on. Salt and pepper. All nice and happy again. Caramelization key.
One, two, three.
Alright, now with the onions starting to caramelize, throw in some water. The ratio, you want 4 parts of water to 1 part of cornmeal for the polenta. So right now we have 4 cups of water and 1 cup of cornmeal. I'm going to pour in the water. And let it come to a boil. Water's boiling. We pour in our cornmeal. Get it whisking as we put it in. It's one of those dishes where you really can't lay off of it. Gotta be whisking all the time. Make sure it doesn't burn. It all comes together nice and silky smooth. Bring the temperature down a little. I want to whisk this until it's one nice texture. If you see some lumps, just try to go at them. You want it as smooth as possible. All in all, it should take about 5 minutes, maybe a little less, to get the cornmeal to a texture where you want it to be and also all the lumps out. You don't want it to be gritty at all. Now we're going to add our final touches. Tablespoon of butter. Push that right in. Half a cup of heavy cream. Get that all incorporated. And then our final touch, Meadowwood's Rippleton, our stinky cheese. We're going to add about a half a cup. Don't skimp on the rind. That's where the stink comes from, most of the flavor. Should melt right in there. Mmm. Stinks. Now we're taking out our short ribs. Oh yeah. Right where they need to be. Put some polenta right on there. Take a nice meaty. Oh, they're falling off the bone. Beautiful. Exactly what you want. And then like that. I'll take some of the sauce from the meat. Just put it right over the polenta. I can also reduce this right now. Now for the real test. Successful again.